Hey guys, this is Healthy Life Designing. I know it's been a while, but we are back in action and we are actually on location in Granville, Ohio. One of my favorite places. I talk about that all the time, but truly such a beautiful place to be in. And specifically today, the farm that we are at. We're talking small scale farming and microgreens, and we're gonna have Todd Fyffe, Farmer Todd Fyffe, joining me in just a second. He's going to share why he moved back from Chicago to Ohio to start his own small-scale farm and teach us a little bit about microgreens. We're going to have more when we come back.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Healthy Life Designing. I'm Darian Rolls. Today we have Todd Fyffe, Farmer Todd Fyffe. Hey Todd, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for being on the show. Oh my gosh, this place is gorgeous.
Thank you. A lot of work has been going on around here really the past year. We're just getting started. This is the first growing season. We're in selling at some markets and also reaching out to some of the restaurants, local community. And
what brought you back to Ohio from Chicago to start your small scale farm?
Well, I think really it was about 5 to 6 years ago. My background is agronomic. I worked in the turfgrass industry for 20 years. Worked on baseball fields as well as golf courses the past 7 as a golf course superintendent in Chicago at a really nice country club. And really 5 to 6 years ago, I started getting more involved with the soil biology of things, more about soil chemistry, and also coupled with TV shows, let's say on PBS, as well as some documentaries about the small scaling aspect of farming, and really got really interested in that. And I started to implement some of that stuff in the programs there on the golf course. And I got to thinking, why not do this, all this nutrient-dense stuff, and do it with vegetables, start feeding people. I grew up about 40 minutes away from here, and we knew we kind of wanted to get back home and everything, and we thought that this would be a great opportunity to use my background in agronomics, get the family back close to nieces and nephews and friends and family, and just made it happen. Two states away, and made it happen.
Here you are, right. So what is a small scale farm? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so small scale, I would define that as something between 1 to even probably up to 10 acres or so. The small-scale farming model that I am envisioning is really a no-tractor model. There's also what's called like a no-till, minimal tillage. And I will be showing the fields later, but to kind of explain a little bit of that is basically building up the soil with amendments, biology, and all that, and having the plants themselves grow within that and not disturbing anything. And each year after that is just getting better and better as the life in the soil starts increasing.
And it's all done in your backyard, hence the name of your business.
Yes, it pretty much started right here. Even when we were in Chicago, in the backyard of that, I had a nice garden there. It was nice pretty much the first couple months of the season. Then once the heat got to us, I was pretty much on the golf course taking care of that and let the weeds take there. From here though, since there's no golf course here, this is where my time has been spent, and I love it, every minute of it.
And so can you talk about some of the things that you have back here in the backyard area?
Yeah, so right here I basically have 3 sets of onions. I have yellow, red, and white. I did have some arugula here. I let that kind of bolt. I am kind of dabbing a little bit with edible flowers, looking at the nutritional levels there, but also taste, and then the aesthetics beauty of stuff. We are looking at carrots, spinach, and then really beautiful 2 rows of red cabbage, and then just a regular cabbage. I have some Bibb lettuce over there. This is the second season of this, so it's looking better. There's still a lot to improve with at the micronutrient level and other stuff to get that really good taste that I'm really wanting to achieve.
Right, and speaking of micro, that's one of the biggest products that you've been really getting more involved with is the microgreens. Now, there's microgreens and sprouts. What is the difference between the microgreens and the sprouts?
Yeah, that's one thing that I think at the farmer's market I'll hear, not even questions, I'll hear comments saying those are sprouts, as they walk by, and
right.
Sprouts and microgreens are not the same thing. Microgreens were sprouts, basically. Sprouts are probably within, I say, 5 to 7 days, grown in a jar or something like that, and never exposed to light. Now microgreens
I didn't know that.
Is basically from seed to harvest is going to be, depending on the vegetable, you're going to look at from 7 to 14 days.
Okay.
And I'm growing under lights or the sunlight, and I'm growing that also in a really good soil media, and that's it's got nutrients and all that. So, and then once the plant is getting about to its true leaf, I'll cut that off. Usually it's about 2.5 to 3 inches. I'll cut that off. We'll wash it and then package it, and it's right there ready. So,
and these are beautiful. I mean, because you can add it as a garnish. You can eat it by itself. You can put it in a salad. It can go with like quinoa or like a couscous. I mean, it's endless, and the nutrient density of microgreens is just crazy high compared to a regular vegetable.
Absolutely. To kind of build on that right there, there have been studies. There's still studies going on. The most famous one I would say is the University of Maryland research, where they have stated that it's 4 to 40 times by weight more nutrient than the adult counterpart. So basically, you can get you can get the amount of nutrients that you want in a smaller dosage of vegetables.
Right.
And they are beautiful.
And it grows even more quickly than a regular vegetable in the garden as well.
Well, absolutely. And one of the reasons why it's really packed nutrients is, as you're looking at this plant, that it's putting all of its energy trying to pop and trying to grow that tissue versus say roots and developing the fruit and all that.
Yes.
So you have all of those nutrients all within that plant there. And I think that was the biggest thing when I started learning about microgreens and shoots. I think that was the biggest thing, like some chefs saying, or restaurants or consumers are saying about the garnish aspect of it. And really, it's not really just about making a plate pretty. It's about the healthy aspect of it.
Right.
It's about the great taste of it. Let's add that to a sandwich. Let's add that to a wrap. Let's not just use it as something that's just pretty for a plate. Yeah, that's great, but let's use it for elevating that dish that you have.
And so what are the different types of microgreens that you grow?
So I think some of the famous ones that are popular, I would say, that I'm finding at the markets is broccoli. We have broccoli, arugula, radish. Radish is pretty simple to grow from the seed to harvest. So that's a good one to start out with if someone's interested in growing it. We do have sunflower shoots. Sunflower shoots are a favorite with kids. It's got that sugar taste to it. It's got a nice crunchy, nutty flavor, and it's a dash of lemon. And our kids and a lot of other kids I've seen will just eat it as a snack. It's kind of a neutral
taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crunchy, and it's great to throw in salads, and or just eat it by itself. And I'm still wanting to start experimenting, growing, and seeing how it grows.
Right, that's the fun part of it. I mean, the whole experience in the process. But another really cool thing is that you can grow this all through the winter. So, I mean, you're just like back to back. It's like every 2 weeks you're able to continue your harvest.
And I think that's the beauty of someone who wants to support, say, local economy, the community. Say I want to shop local. I want to shop in season, but I still need to get those nutrients. That's one way to do it versus saying, having your vegetables come in during the winter from the other side of the country or whatever. So it's a really good way to support your local economy, but also to get those nutrients and knowing who's growing it and everything.
And it's affordable. I mean, anybody can do it. I mean, how much would you be comfortable talking about how much you probably have invested, just the startup cost of the microgreens, because it's in your house. I know you have trays and a shelving unit and the lighting, but I mean, once you get it going and you have the proper soil, I mean, you probably make your money back pretty quickly. And then the fact that you're able to eat, healthier.
Yes. Yeah, and the startup costs with you need shelves, you need the trays. Those can get semi-expensive if you get the good stuff that's going to last for a while. Your seed, the soil, the lights. I found a really good supplier of cheaper LED lights. I wanted to go LED just because the environmental aspect of it, also the cost of electric.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean you're not really talking thousands of dollars to start something like this up.
And anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. Yes.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break. You've been hearing from farmer Todd Fyffe. We've talked about small scale farming and microgreens, but when we come back, we're going to head over to another piece of his property. You're going to see a little bit more about what the small scale farm is and even the hoop house when we come back.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm a recovering addict. For 10 of the last 11 years, I've been struggling with addiction, homelessness, incarceration, and just loneliness. However, since getting clean this past year, I've accomplished more than I have in those 10 years combined. After attending outpatient counseling services, inpatient counseling services, living in a sober living house, and attending 12-step meetings, I've been able to regain control of my life and begin to achieve goals I've always dreamed of. Addiction can destroy lives in many ways. Whether you need help with childcare or financial assistance, everyone deserves a new beginning. Recovery supports are just that, supports for recovery. My life mattered. Your life matters too.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Healthy Life Designing. As you can see, it's beautiful. There's a ton of sunshine, as you can tell. We're in Granville. We're with Todd Fyffe, the farmer. We've been talking earlier about small-scale farming and microgreens, and now we are actually more in your backyard, Todd. Can you tell us a little bit about the space that we're in right now?
Yeah, as you see right here, you're going to see a bunch of what I call blocks. This is what I was saying about the permanent beds and rows, areas that are not going to be seeing a tractor anytime soon. We have right over here 30-inch beds, and then it's about 14 inches rows, and you'll see the twine. That's where I'm going to be walking and everything.
Okay. Now what's grown in that area?
So I have broccoli, a good amount of kale, different types of kale. I have peppers, I have eggplant, and some more cabbage. This is stuff that's going to be sold at the market.
Okay.
You'll see that I'm still a work in progress. I just really started obviously this season, but I do have more areas that I'm going to be expanding. You'll see some tarps out here. We have the silage tarps, and with this small scale organic approach to it, the biggest say person hours of harvest from the seed in the ground is going to be weed management. What I'm using right here is the sun, basically, the solarization. I'm heating up that soil and then killing up all that weed seed.
So by heating up the soil too, does that kind of help soften it and it just break up the nutrients to make things easier to grow?
I wish it did. It didn't, that's the thing.
I was excited to hear yes.
With the soil testing that I've been doing, seeing what nutrients, what minerals that are deficient.
Okay.
So in Ohio we have very tight, so we have high magnesium in there and low calcium. So I am applying the calcium spring, fall with a good amount of pounds per acre to help kind of get that soil and get that soil balanced and everything. The pH is very low. I need to get that pH up, and that calcium is going to help chemically in a way break that stuff up. And then once you get that, what you're talking about, that nice loose soil, then we'll have that biology of microorganisms that I've been really all about, and creating that environment and everything for them. And then that right there will help also release whatever nutrients that are in that soil, so it's plant available.
Okay. And talking about the environment and the soil, and something we haven't really touched on yet is it being organic. And I'm a firm believer on wanting to have most of my diet come from organic plants. But what can you talk a little bit about your process and how you're able to do that here?
Yeah, so basically, we start with the seed. Our seed is non-GMO and organic. I'm also applying products, so that calcium, micronutrients, even to the compost, it's all organic.
Okay.
A lot of it's OMRI or organic compliant.
Okay.
And then from there, we might see some pests. We're going to use OMRI certified products that more likely biological pest control with that. The goal is to have my soils balanced, and this will take a couple years. And that's the thing. This is not a quick thing. This is not conventional AdWords.
And that's what people don't know either.
Let's get this nutrients now. But once I get my minerals balanced, I build up that life of the soil organisms, the fungi, and the good bacteria. The goal is to have least or to no pest, so then I'm not reapplying
right.
stuff.
Okay. And so for the first part that we talked about where you have everything growing, so what is the size of that and how long does that last you? So say that somebody wanted to do this and they were doing it at their own home in their backyard. With everything that you've planted, that size of a garden, how long can that carry you through?
Well, I do like this size right here. So this is going to be a 30 feet, and where I have it planted right there is 50 feet going that way.
Okay.
That's going to be 8 rows. So it really depends on the type of plant that you're going to be using. Radishes, it's going to be 28 days, and you're not going to grow an entire row of radishes. That's going to be way too much for the common homeowner. Maybe 10 feet or 5 feet of that, growing that. So, and depending on the lettuce as well, I don't know the exact numbers of the harvest is how much the yield you're going to achieve for each row. That's actually part of the process of learning right now with myself.
Let's say just your area for yourself. How long is that gonna last you? Will that go through like one farmer's market, 2? Because you're in a lot of different farmers markets. I know you're a part of at least 3.
Yes. Yeah. So the kale, for example, will be all season. When we harvest, it'll I'd say probably about 10 feet of that will supply a farmer's market right there.
Okay.
So.
Wow, that's awesome. We haven't talked about the hoop house yet. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the hoop house is going to be basically an extension of the season. Part of this hoop house is also going to be propagation, meaning we'll take potting soil and seed and get the transplants growing, get them on growing tables, and then getting them out here. So I'm quickly turning over crops. The other majority of it's going to be used for your cool season crops to get that early in the season. So March, April we have crops. We don't have it this year because we just got this hoop house up. During the summer right now, you're going to see I have tomatoes, I have cucumbers. Those are all warm season, sun loving, needs heat. Let's get them in here, get them growing quick, and producing that yield. And then once those are done, then I'll be planting the kale and some other cool season crops that are pretty famous, at the fall farmers markets and up to the winter. Yeah.
Okay. And how long did it take for you to, because was this one of the kits that you order and then it comes and you put it together? How long did it take for you guys to get all of this up and ready to go?
Yeah, we ended up going up near Worcester, Ohio. It's called Yoder's Produce. It's pretty common area where a lot of people around Ohio is grabbing their hoop houses, and I had them actually go ahead and supply the materials and build it. They did it all in one day.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, they're quick and they know how to work, and I wanted to get it done right.
Right.
So.
And are you taking everything to each farmer's market? Can you talk about the farmers markets that you're a part of and the things that you take there? Yeah, so
Friday evenings I'm going to be in Newark at the Canal Market District. There I'm going to have the microgreens and the shoots, as well as produce there once it's available here.
Okay.
In Granville I'm strictly just selling microgreens as well as shoots and some other types of greens there. And then New Albany I'll be selling, and we'll go back to, so Granville's from 8:30 on Saturdays, 8:30 in the morning to 12. And then I'll be at the first 3 markets in New Albany, and that I believe is also 4 to 7 p.m. on Thursday evenings. And there I'll have microgreen shoots as well as produce. So similar lineup as I'm at in Newark.
Great. If somebody wanted to start their small scale farm or the microgreens, could you give them a little bit of information and a great way for them to get started?
Yeah, as far as the microgreens end of things, I think a really good website, seed company to go to look toward would be True Leaf. market, and they'll have all the kits there. They'll sell the seeds and everything like that. I don't typically buy a lot of my seeds there, but I know that's a really good resource to go to from everything you can think of. And then in terms of what we're doing out here, the small scale farming, there's an organization, a great organization that I reached out the very first, really the month I moved here. It's called the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association. So they are our certification area, or the people who certify for their organics, but they're also, they have a great beginning farming seminar, a program there. They constantly have programs from anything you can think of, from growing and also the business structure. So I think I would point people in that direction.
Right. Awesome. Well, I love so much that you've been able to share your home, your property, your small scale farming, and all of the great information. And I want to be sure to remind people that this is doable. It's not something that it's affordable, it's doable, and the nutrients that you can receive from the microgreens, that's probably one of my favorite things that we've talked about, because I know you had brought me, I've been able to have many different types of the things that you've been able to grow, and I love them. They're great, they taste great, but the texture, and it's really fun to try something new. And I know that's something I say all the time, but it really is, and it's not going to hurt you. It's something great. And if someone decides that they want to start the small scale farming, would you be able to be a resource to them? You know, would you be able to provide them any information?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing I love doing. Is just talking about it.
Yes.
Just that and as well as, you know, getting them hooked up with other farmers that could be mentors.
Exactly. So what would be your contact information that they could reach out to you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me at www.fbfgranville.com. I have a website there. There I also have my contact information, my email. You can always reach out to me right there, but definitely check that out.
Awesome.
You can see my growing practices as well as progress pictures of the farm.
Great. Well, that is about all that we have time for today, you guys, but thank you so much, Todd, for being a part of the show and sharing all of your great information.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming out to Granville, Ohio.
Yeah, I loved it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.